Hey class, so for your last assignment, I had you begin drawing the outline of your thumbprint. And they all look great so far. I love your ideas. So far, some of you have some really creative ideas. But as far as last class period, I had you start off by really trying to define where the lines of your thumbprints are, and then start adding to it. I said that on Tuesday I wanted 75% of your thumbprint lines completed, and just your basic idea, right? So just going back to this picture here is actually about probably 75% complete. Not this one, actually. This one is probably pretty complete and refined. And then this was my idea. So I was going to start talking about my life story, right? So for Thursday's class, what I would like to see is your thumbprint really refined, like all the lines completed. I would also like to see an outline of your story, right? So you could write this down, you could comment in Google Classroom, but I'd like to see for you to elaborate more. So if I start thinking about my life story, I could say, well, I went to the University of Massachusetts, I grew up in Demarest, I teach at Cresskill High School, I have a son named CJ. I was born on January 22nd, right? So these are all things about me that I could write down. So I would like to see you generate some ideas. What I also would like to see is that you start adding in text to your thumbprint, okay? Maybe I put 50% here, but I'm okay with like 25 to 50% because you also have to finish your thumbprint, write down your ideas, which could take a while, and then start placing your text within your thumbprint. So this right here would be about 50% complete, maybe even a little bit more actually. But what I wanted to go over with you, now I'm basing mine off of this idea, where I'm keeping it black and white. I'm probably going to use a black pen to fill in the text. So, and I'm looking closely at scaling text, right? Some text is bigger than others and so forth. So for me to plan, mine out. I was going to show you how I went about it in a second, but remember, it doesn't have to look like mine. Yours could have color. You could have images running through it. You could even get creative and use text from a newspaper or a magazine. But let me go through my process of how I did this. So this was my process. So I first started out, you can see I keep building on top of. Because there's a lot of lines, so you got to try and figure out how you're going to start this. Or you're going to go in like order, like timeline order of like I'm basing it on my life. I'm not. I'm just kind of putting stuff sporadically around my thumbprint. And if you're scaling text, my suggestion would be to start with placing larger text throughout this shape. So you can see I started out with my larger text. I really looked at different type of font styles. You know, you can go online and look up different fonts, or go in and type up different words and look at font styles if you wanted to get really creative. But I started scaling some of my text in areas and balancing out the larger text, like my birthday, things that I feel grateful for, I'm lucky, my family, my marriage, my children, and so forth. And then from there, I continued to add text. I began to add smaller text in areas. So I started adding text in smaller areas. And, you know, for mine, it's not like a timeline that starts up top and goes down, or starts in the center and comes out, which it can. My information is kind of sporadically, it's like dispersed all over the place, not in any order. And then you can see in the third one, I started adding even more text. So I'd say in this last example, I'm probably 90% done with filling in my text. I still am missing some text here. There's some open spaces through here that I might add some text, right? But I'm not done yet. All right, and this is just the pencil rendering. You know, you have to go in, and after you pencil, think about, are you going to do it in black ink, which I think looks nice? Are you going to add texture or color, right? Just things to think about. One thing I would suggest is working lightly in pencil, because a lot of the lines that you have are going to be erased. The only thing that's going to essentially be showing after you finish this is your text, right? So the lines of your thumbprint are just being used as reference for your text. Because if you notice, what I'm going to do is outline everything in ink and then erase all my lines, even the outline, the circle of my thumbprint, and it's going to take on this new shape. All right, so I hope this is helpful, but like I said, for Thursday, April 30th, I would like to see, if you haven't finished the outline of your thumbprint, make sure you refine it. I feel like a lot of you have finished it. I'd like to see your text written down that you're going to use as reference to work off of. And then I put 50%, but I'm going to say 25 to 50% of thumbprint filled in with text. You also have your Friday flex day to work on this. I mean, I'd like to see your progress today, but know that you can work on it. Also, your flex day, if you have any questions or concerns, you can email me and I can definitely help you out. And then know that next week we're going to move into refining this further. So really completing our pencil drawing, starting to ink it in with other materials, and then finish it from there. All right, enjoy your day.